Hi, this is Andy Scott with North Shore Apartments and Condos. We're going down to 821 Elmwood, the garden unit, which is a nicely remodeled 2-bedroom. This is the front door, but before we get to the front door, there is a private closet here that is really quite deep, quite big space. There's a light fixture in there, but there's no light bulb right now. So I'll have to get that for you. This is 821 Elmwood garden. As we walk through the front door, we see a closet, a glimpse at the kitchen, the living area into the dining area. There's a far storage room, and the bedrooms are to the right of the dining area. So before we go further, let's take a look at this closet space here and its shelves. Now this is a true garden unit. It's probably 3 or 4 feet below grade. Here we have an entry closet that's really more for the kitchen. It's more like a pantry. Let's go through the living room. The living room is a nice big space, and you can see it's relatively light. You've got baseboard heat, laminated floors, which are newer. I don't know if they're brand new, but they are newer. You do see pipes in the ceiling, but the ceiling is pretty high, so they're not in the way. And if we walk in towards the windows, we've had some big rain, so we've got a little mud kicked up on the windows. But we see we're about 4 feet below ground. That is Elmwood out front, so that's Elmwood. And we're at the corner of Washington and Elmwood. As I turn around, you see that big storage space that I mentioned. I don't know what exactly. You could do a lot of things with that, including plants. If we look back, we see that this is not a square room, but more square than many. Probably about 12.5 feet across there by 13.5 feet, something like that. We see the closet through the entry there. We're going to walk into this big storage area. This has got to be 13, 14 feet long by about 3 feet across. It's quite big. And again, this gives you a little better look at Elmwood right out front. And there's the sidewalk. So we'll come out of here, and this has a light fixture. Let's see. Yeah, this lights up nicely, so you could do a lot of things in here. Coming out of that storage area, you get a more full sense of the size of the living room, which is really very big. And the entry area over there. And we come around the corner and we see the dining room, which is another very big room. At least 11.5 feet across by 13 feet long. Really nice. Again, you have pipes in the ceiling, so it's a true garden unit. The windows are newer though. These are actually nice new windows. Here we're looking at Washington, so we're facing south here. And we're still about 3.5, 4 feet below ground. If we turn around, we see here I'll do like this. So you can really see the space of the dining room. I should have done this with the living room too. You've got outlets on 3 of the 4 walls. We are looking into the living room, and the front door is that lit area there. Okay, we'll come out of the dining room, and we'll turn to our left, and we'll come back to the kitchen, and there's the entry closet right next to the kitchen. To our right, we have the first bedroom. This bedroom's a little bit smaller. Again, I think we're facing Washington through the window. We still have the pipes through the windows. It's the smaller bedroom. It's probably 8 feet across by 9 feet long, something like that. Laminated floors. It has a closet, and the closet has a shelf and a hanging bar that's missing, but we'll put it back up. Closet's pretty good size, but we do have a water pipe and the water meter in the closet, so it's compromised a little bit. From the closet, we'll look back. Oopsie daisy, there we go. Give you a size of the space. This would be ideal for a full bed, would fit a queen, but like I said, ideal for a full. And again, we're looking right out at the corner of Washington and Elmwood right there. So we'll come out of this first bedroom and we'll come back and go to the kitchen. And before we get to the second bedroom, we have a super clean bath. So I don't like to be in my own video. So there's the medicine cabinet with mirrors, and there's a light fixture above the mirror, which is real nice. The shower head is probably about 6 feet, 6'1" high. Beautiful tile around the tub, which is squeaky clean. Ceramic tiles on the floor. Nice sink with a cabinet underneath, base underneath. And we have a tank toilet here. That round rusty thing is a clean out pipe that would allow plumbers to get to the sewer. Water pressure here is fantastic. It drains beautifully. The medicine cabinet is a standard medicine cabinet with 3 doors and 3 shelves. So that's nice to have. And again, everything's drained beautifully here underneath. Super clean and ready to use for storage. Again, the shower head's probably about 6 feet high. Nice window. You probably want to crack it some just to air out the bathroom. But you can see the tiles are just flawless. Tub is nice and clean. Check the water pressure here. Whoops. All the way to high. Comes out the gangbusters. So you can see we have real good water pressure there. So we'll shut this down. Let's switch hands for a second. Oh, goodness. A little bit sticky, but it drains out nicely. It's really a very nice bath. Again, I don't want to be in too much in the picture, but there you have it. Again, it's a tank toilet. So from the bath, we would go down the hall, which is probably about 6 feet, into the second bedroom, which is a little larger. If we come in, we see that it's about 9 feet across. That's Washington, I believe. And then there's a window behind me that goes out to the back deck sort of thing off the kitchen. So that's probably 9 feet across and 11 feet long. So it's a much bigger bedroom. You could easily get a queen size bed. Still, I don't think it's perfect for a king, but you do have a nice closet here. And remember, you have that big storage area before you ever even enter the apartment. It's probably 4.5 feet long by 2 feet deep. And again, you do have a shelf with room for hangers. I'm going to close the closet. Okay, look back from the bedroom. And we see the space in the apartment's really very good. And give you one more look at the size of this bedroom. Walking quickly towards the, again, we're right at Washington and Elmwood. And turn around and look for, whoops-a-daisy, there we go. And we look at the second window there, which is towards the backyard. Now that's a really important part of this apartment. The backyard is really nice. Okay, so now we go past the commode, the first bedroom which we saw, the living room and the dining room which were to our left, and we'll go into the kitchen. And we'll sort of go back towards the front door, which is right there. So one more look at the living room while we're here. We have that big room that's totally undefined. It's a little too narrow to be a real room, but it's big space. We'll take a look at the kitchen. We see good cabinet space, nice countertop. I think that's a laminate rather than a rock. New stove. If we swing around here, we see we have more space. We have some shelving units over there and a nice big new fridge. The stove, never been used before. So totally clean, 4-burner stove, inside squeaky clean, almost like a mirror. The countertop is not brand new, but the sink is. So you got a beautiful stainless steel sink with a hose attachment, water pressure, and that's just the hot water. It's beautiful. Let's see if I can open this up down here. I can. Nice and dry, clean. Able to use the storage. We have drawers over here. We've got 4 drawers. The bottom one is bigger. A little crusty, but bigger. Nice outlet on that side. I'll turn this off. Cabinets above are like the 1 square foot variety. So 2 feet across, 1 feet square every other way. And we've got 2 of those. There's the second. And then we've got a 3rd set of cabinets, which are more like the standard 2 feet high, 3 shelves. Shelves are not quite 12 inches deep, so not quite a square foot. Okay, we'll go around here. I am going to open up the back door, but you can see you've got a little sitting area out here. You've got a bench. Out there are the gardens, which I'll show you in a second. Show you the shelving, which is really helpful for a kitchen. And then the fridge is probably 5 feet 9 inches high, so it's a big fridge. Freezer on top, shelves to the right. And underneath, that's really a massive amount of refrigerator space. Crisper drawers on the bottom, butter dish to the right, more shelves to the right. And again, you have these shelves here, which are probably about 20 inches across, and then up on top, which is more like 30 inches. Really very nice. I love the outdoor space with this building. You'd come out here, just gonna walk this way for a second, but you have that sitting area there. And if you were to go up the stairs, and now I'm getting a long way from the apartment, but these garden areas are assigned and people use them. It really creates a community. And you can see they're really in full bloom right now. And then if you didn't want a garden, you still have a backyard to sit in. Really nice outdoor space. So, pretty cool. Great location near the main street shopping and the trains. If I come in through the back door, we see the nice new laminated floors, the kitchen cabinets and the stove, beautiful new sink, great water pressure. I'm going to close this door. If I turn around, we've got that big fridge and some more shelving. We have like a pantry out here in this. And then we have the main rooms, which is really cool. We have that extra room, and it brings us back to the front door. Thanks for watching.